All right, let's jump right into a classic business problem. We're going to use a surprisingly familiar case study to break down a really high stakes decision. The question is this: at what point does investing in your people stop being a smart move and start being, well, a huge gamble? And that is the exact question staring down Eugene H. Krabs. He's the owner of the Krusty Krab, which is, a super profitable business, but it's also incredibly vulnerable. You see, his whole empire is built on this secret recipe, right? But the real risk, it's not the formula itself. It's the people who are actually handling it. So, to really get what's at stake here, you got to look at the two key employees who are right at the heart of this whole operation. They're not just staff members, they really represent two totally different kinds of business risk that, frankly, any leader is going to recognize. So, on one hand, you've got your superstar, SpongeBob. He's the asset. He is the heart and soul of this place, and his skill is basically a secret ingredient all on its own. And then you've got the liability, Squidward. He's the guy who's just there, phoning it in, and his bad attitude actively poisons the customer experience. I mean, one is literally building your brand, and the other is slowly tearing it down from the inside. SpongeBob's incredible talent brings a very real, formal business threat to the table. It's called key person risk. Think about it. After his huge public success in the Fry Cook games, he's not just an employee anymore. He's a hot commodity, a prime target for competitors. All of a sudden, the business's greatest strength is also its most terrifying weakness. And then you've got the other side of this coin. And look, this isn't just a hunch or a bad vibe. We've got the data to prove it. We're seeing a measurable 15% jump in customer complaints, and they are all directly tied to Squidward's, let's say, less than enthusiastic service. That's not just a bad day. That's a slow, steady bleed of your customer base. So all of this puts Mr. Krabs at a huge strategic crossroads. He's got four very distinct options in front of him, and each of these paths represents a totally different philosophy for how you run a business and, more importantly, how you manage the people inside it. All right, first up, we have what you might call the do-nothing approach, the Iron Claw Protocol. Basically, this is the strategy of not having a strategy. You just double down on what you're already doing, radical cost control, and you just cross your fingers and hope for the best. And you can see why this is tempting, right? It costs absolutely nothing upfront. You maximize your profits today. But the downside, man, it is catastrophic. Your entire business is balancing on the loyalty of one single person while another person is actively chipping away at your brand. It's a ticking time bomb. So let's be real. This isn't a strategy. It's a gamble. It's a bet on how long your luck is going to hold out. How long before your star employee gets a better offer, or your customers just get fed up and decide to go somewhere else for good. Okay, so let's swing the pendulum to the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Option 2, the Krabby College Initiative. This is a massive investment in your people. The whole goal is to systematize the entire operation, from flipping the patties to taking the orders. Now, the genius here is that you're making the process the star of the show, not any one person. That makes talent replicable, which seriously lowers your risk. But it's really expensive. And you face the very real possibility that you might just be using your own money to train your competitor's next great employee. But this brings up a really interesting kind of philosophical question, doesn't it? Can you actually capture magic in a training manual? Or by trying to standardize it, do you risk turning this unique, beloved art form into just another soulless, generic product? Okay, so option 3 is a little more surgical. It's the golden spatula contract. The idea here is simple. Forget training everybody, just figure out what it takes to lock down your star player and pay them. Give them a long-term, can't-say-no contract. On the plus side, it's a laser-focused solution to your biggest, most immediate problem. And it's definitely cheaper than training the whole company. The massive downside, it does absolutely nothing about the slow poison of bad customer service. And it could create this really toxic, resentful culture where everybody knows only one person really matters. And this is where you really have to think about the culture you're building. What happens to your team's morale? To the overall health of the business? When you make it so obvious that one person is invaluable and everyone else is, well, expendable. And for a last option, well, this one's a total moonshot, the automated galley. This is a radical pivot. It reframes the entire problem. It says, hey, if people are the issue, why don't we just get rid of them? Look, if this pays off, it's a complete game changer. You solve every labor problem forever, you achieve total market domination. But the if is huge. This would require an enormous investment, and if it fails, it's guaranteed bankruptcy. Plus, you might just destroy that special handmade feel that made people love your brand in the first place. So this really boils down to the ultimate bet: technology versus the human touch. It forces you to ask whether that secret ingredient is just a set of instructions a machine can follow, or if it's something fundamentally, unquantifiably human. So that's it. 4 totally different paths, leading to 4 very different futures for the Krusty Krab. The Iron Claw, the Coolidge Initiative, the Golden Spatula, or the Automated Galley. It all comes down to one decision from the owner. And that leaves us right where he is, facing the exact same questions. How long can you really rely on luck? Is it possible to standardize magic? What's the cultural price you pay for playing favorites? And can a machine ever truly replace the human touch? So, which path would you choose, and why?